Saving money truly is key to building a more secure financial future for you and your family. It gives you the freedom to pursue your goals and dreams. So saving money has always been a huge priority for me, whether I was saving up for a down payment or now investing for the future and traveling. So in this video, I want to share with you some of my top hacks and strategies that I use to save for the future and to reach my financial goals. Of course, I've continued to do all the traditional things like budgeting and paying myself first, but today I want to go a bit beyond that and share with you some really practical tips that I use all the time that I find really make a difference. Let's get started with a super powerful tip that can quite literally cut your restaurant bills in half. And that's when you go out to eat, skip the appetizer, skip the dessert, and skip the drink. And instead, opt only for an entree and free tap water. Not only is this just naturally going to be healthier for you, you're consuming far fewer calories, but more importantly, you can often save up to 50% of your bill by doing so. And that can really add up. The average American household spends about $3,500 on eating out every year, which works out to about $300 a month. So if you can just forgo a few menu items every time you eat out, those savings really do add up and can make a big difference in your monthly budget. Then just one little tip I'll add with this one, and that's to avoid meal delivery services like Uber Eats and DoorDash. The fees of these services are often through the roof, and they can easily double the amount that you're paying for a simple meal. So whenever possible, if you're trying to save money, I'd recommend avoiding them. But the next, and this is a big one, and that's to regularly audit your subscriptions list and to cancel any that you aren't using. Reviewing your subscriptions is something that is so easy to do. It probably takes like 15 minutes, but it can result in you being able to save hundreds of dollars a year. And a great example of this is actually last month, I reviewed my subscriptions list. I was able to really quickly identify 3 different services that I just stopped using and had forgotten to cancel. And so by just taking a few minutes to cancel them, I was able to save about $30 a month, which translates to almost $400 a year in annual savings. So in my opinion, that is 15 minutes just so well spent. Okay, then for my fellow travel lovers, this is another great one, and that's simply to travel during the off season. Not only is traveling during the off season just an effortless way to save money, but in my opinion, it also makes for a better overall experience. And just by traveling a month or two on either side off the peak season, you can easily save 50% or more both your flights and your lodging. Not only that, but your destination is likely to be way less crowded, which just makes your time spent there so much more enjoyable. This is a tip that I've been implementing and benefiting from for literally years now. A couple of years ago, I used it to find round-trip flights to Greece for under $500. Last year, I got our round-trip tickets to New Zealand, which, mind you, those tickets normally go for $2,500 from our area for less than $900. And this year, I actually found a round-trip flight to Dublin, and it's a non-stop flight, mind you, for less than $800. This is just a really powerful tip that can hugely minimize the financial burden that often comes with traveling. Then something else that I like to do is just to wait for sales. I want to make a clarification with this one. I try not to buy anything because it's on sale. I don't want it being on sale to be my primary motivator. But for items that I already know that I'm going to buy, especially when they have a higher price tag, I like to wait for times of the year or specific days when I know that they're going to be on sale. That way I can get them at a lower price. Black Friday here in the United States is a great example of that. Last year, probably 4 to 6 months before Black Friday, probably sometime around the summer, Christopher and I decided that we wanted to purchase both a Samsung Frame TV and a Dyson cordless vacuum. And at the time, both of those items were quite expensive. They are just naturally higher ticket items. But by waiting till Black Friday, we were able to save a combined, I think it was $800 on just those 2 items. So whether it's a TV, a car, or any other high ticket item that you might be looking for, waiting for sales can be a great way to save money on something that you're already going to be buying. Then another really simple one is just to carpool when possible. Especially for long road trips, I love doing this, but we'll also do it too for something as simple as driving across town. This is a great one that that can help you to save money on gas, which it feels like is just getting more and more expensive these days. It can also reduce wear and tear on your car, helping it to last longer. And probably one of my favorite non-financial benefits is that it just allows you to spend time with friends. Some of my greatest memories really are just road tripping different places with friends or family. Then one kind of intangible tip, but that I find nonetheless very impactful, is just learning to be content. Our society is always telling us that we need more and more and more. But I think there's something really beautiful about just learning to be grateful and happy with where you're at and with what you have. From a saving money perspective, it can really help to stave off that feeling of always needing to upgrade to the latest and greatest and have everything be better and better and better. That isn't to say that there's anything wrong with upgrading or with buying new things. I mean, I just shared that we bought a new TV last year, and that was because our old TV was, I think it was 6 or 7 years old, and it just was not working the same way that it used to. But learning contentment, I think, really does kind of take the pressure off of feeling like everything has to be the newest and best version out there. So just a couple examples and ways that we've applied this tip are, number one, when buying a house, we tried to pick one that wasn't maxing out our budget and instead was well within our price range, enabling us to save more for other things like investing for the future or traveling. Then with our cars too, we've chosen not to upgrade them, and instead we've been driving the same cars for years. They aren't new, they aren't fancy, but they get the job done. And again, that's just enabled us to work towards goals that for us were more of a priority. That isn't to say those might not change in the future. I shared before, we had the same TV for years and we eventually decided to replace it because it stopped working as well as it used to. The same thing goes for our cars. If and when they reach a point in time when they just start breaking down on us, we will likely invest in new cars at that point in time. But for now, we're happy to save money by not immediately upgrading, being content with where we're at, and instead just focusing on other goals that at this point in time for us right now are just more important. But again, that's something that may change for us in the future. And I love this next one, and that's to join or to start a buy nothing group. These groups can be a great way to acquire things that you otherwise would have bought at the store that you can instead get for free. What's so great about these groups too is a lot of the items that you'll find in them you can't actually get at a thrift store. I'm a part of one locally here in Charlotte, and I've seen everything from car washing supplies to furniture to makeup to home organization bits and so much more get posted and claimed on these groups. And of course, just like with shopping sales, you want to make sure that you aren't claiming items that you don't actually need. But if you wait around for the right item, you really can find a true gem. If you aren't sure where to find a buy nothing group near you, I'd recommend either searching for it on Facebook, on Google, or another great option can be just to begin one with either people from your workplace or a group of friends. And this next one has been a big one for me in 2023, and that's to rediscover your local library. These days, most libraries not only have physical copies of your favorite books, but also audiobooks and digital copies as well. So next time there's a new read that you're wanting to check out, rather than purchasing it, why not borrow it? I've probably saved over $100 already this year just by making that switch. But then one kind of bonus tip for this one is either if your local library just doesn't have a ton of great options, or there are books that you're wanting to read with really long hold times, it's just to start a group chat with a few of your other reading loving friends. And you can all just share what books you have, what you're wanting to read, and in that way you can kind of combine libraries and just borrow books from each other, and in that way kind of check off some of those books from your to be read list. And something else you can do to save money is just to be strategic with filling up your gas tank. Especially if you're in or near a city, gas prices really can fluctuate wildly, even within 1 square mile. So an easy way to save money every time you fill up your gas tank is just to identify what is the most affordable option near you, and then just to fill up your tank there. Of course, you shouldn't be driving miles out of your way for this, but if you're near an option with significantly more affordable gas prices, why not take advantage of those savings? And one way to make this one even more powerful is next time you're looking looking for a new car, so obviously this isn't going to be something that happens all that often, but next time you're in the market for a new car, why not look for one with a higher level of fuel efficiency? In just 1 year, driving a car that gets you 30 miles per gallon can save you nearly $1,000 versus a car that gets 20 miles per gallon. If you multiply those savings over multiple years, this can easily save you thousands. Okay, then another great tip that I kind of already hinted at, but that I love, is to buy secondhand. This can be such a great way to save money while not having to compromise on quality. Honestly, some of my favorite things have been bought secondhand. Probably my favorite thing to look for secondhand, and where I find you get the best value, is in furniture. We bought our bed frame secondhand, our dresser, the bar cabinet in our dining room, our dining table and chairs. All of that's been bought secondhand. It's all incredible quality. We've been able to save about 50% on each and every one of those items versus buying them brand new. So buying furniture secondhand can help you save so much. Clothing too, there are just so many amazing clothing items that you can come across, new or gently used in the secondhand market. So when in doubt, I just say, if you're looking to save money, shop secondhand first. All right, we have just a couple left here. Next is to get creative with gifts. Gifts really can be a huge expense in your budget, especially around Christmas or birthdays. So why not get a bit more creative with them? I'm a big believer that there are a lot of really meaningful gifts that you can give that don't need to cost you a penny, or at the very least can be extremely affordable. If you're a bit more creative, I love the idea of painting or making something. If you enjoy baking, you can make some delicious cookies or a fun dessert. Or if you're a bit more handy, why not build something or offer to do a home project that the person has had on their list for a while. A great example of this is for Father's Day this year, what my father-in-law said he wanted more than anything else was just for everyone to come over and do a bit of yard work, just something that we were happy to do and really meant a lot to him. So these are all really meaningful gifts that don't have to break the bank. Okay, then last but not least, and I have to say going into this, I know that this isn't for everyone, but last year I realized that we just really were not getting the maximum benefit out of the credit card that we were using. We'd had the same one for years, we'd always used it very responsibly, but to be honest, it just didn't have great rewards. So after doing a bit of research, we were able to find and open up a card with much better benefits, which if you're curious, the one we went with, we decided on the Venture X card because we love to travel. But in just the year and a half that we've had the card open, we've already been able to rack up several $1,000s worth of benefits. These are benefits that we're actually using, mind you. Just this past week, I used them to book some of the places we'll be staying while in the UK later this year. So if you can use a credit card like a debit card and pay it off every month, which if you struggle to do this, I'll just say I really would not recommend this tip. Just stick to debit. It is so much safer and the rewards are not worth you going into debt. But if you can, number one, I would recommend seeing if the card or cards that you currently have are maximizing your potential rewards. And if not, maybe search out a new one. But then two, actually make sure you're leveraging those cards and using them to their full potential. Honestly, guys, I didn't realize how much we were losing out on in potential rewards by keeping our old card until I really did some research and figured out what was out there. So it's definitely something that I would recommend doing. All right, well, those are some of my favorite hacks and strategies that we've used to save quite literally thousands of dollars. But now I would love to know, what are some of your favorite money saving tips? Be sure to let me know what those are in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye. P.S. I hope it hasn't been too noticeable, but in the time I've been filming this, we have quite literally had a full-blown storm roll in. So power just flickered a second ago and it's getting scary here. I'm sure we'll be fine, but yeah, that was crazy.